start with the reading of the notice of the meeting. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Library Board of Trustees was sent by email to our official newspapers, the Asbury Park Press and the Coast Star. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we're going to first start with the appointment of our secretary, so then the secretary can do the roll call and start keeping track of it, everyone. Do we have any nominations for secretary?
I nominate.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations? Seeing that we have none, why don't we do just all those that are in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right.
Thank you. You win.
Okay, that's if you could do roll call.
Okay. Let's see. So, Jimmy Alvarez, is he excused?
He is excused, he's watching the kids.
Okay. Jerry?
Here.
Let's go here. Bruce?
Present.
Casey?
Here.
Here. Darlene?
She's not feeling well.
Me, I'm here. Maria?
She's
Not here. Okay, Johanna? Here. Okay, Michael Shepherd? You want a second?
We are, but he might not.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have a quorum.
Okay. Sharon is here. I'm here. Danielle? All right, and that should be.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So why don't we start with the nominations for president? Do we have any nominations for president?
I nominate Sharon Russell.
Do we have a second to that?
second.
Any other nominations? Okay. Michael?
Hello, sir.
Okay, we just did nominations of president, and we had Sharon nominated. Okay. No other nominations, correct? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, Sharon, you're on again. Do you want me to just lead it since you're virtual, or? Okay, I'll do the nominations too for vice president and the treasurer. Is that okay? I'll do that? Okay. Okay. So for vice president, do we have any nominations? Okay, Johanna, do you accept that? Yes?
Seconded.
Okay, second Bruce. Any other nominations for vice president? Okay.
Yeah, Michael, would you like to be vice president?
Sure.
Yes. Yes, Michael.
Okay.
Withdraw the
You
nomination.
want to, okay,
I'll
okay.
withdraw.
All right.
Nominate Michael Shepherd.
Okay, Michael. A second for Michael?
Second.
Okay.
Couldn't done it anyway with a girl.
That's true, that's true.
Any other
Yeah,
nominations?
without her
Was
presence.
withdrawn for Johanna. She said no thank you. And Michael is willing to take that nomination. Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. We have all in favor of Michael for vice president?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great. And now so we have secretary, now we need treasurer. And Darlene did tell me she's not here, but well, it's up to you. Do we have any nominations for treasurer?
Nominate Darlene.
Okay, second for Bruce. And she did tell me she would accept that. So are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor of Darlene? No? Okay, great. For treasurer? Opposed? Okay, great. So we're on to, if you don't mind, Pat, do the approval of the minutes. And just a real, could I go over the minutes real quick just to make sure, because it's important in terms of Michael made a motion to roll over $100,000 into capital reserves and $20,000 to encumber from the line item that had $200,000 in windows for any additional funds for the basement. Right now, the only money that I know of, and I met with All Risk, was the $2,500 for the deductible, and I wanted to talk to everyone about the possibility, we can do that in the new business, of $1,000 for a hot water line to the sink so we can do a better job of cleaning. We don't have that in the sink room. It's very difficult if you've been in the bathroom to do that. So I did get a lower price from Belmar Plumbing rather than doing the All Risk that's doing the cost. Usually that's higher. So it's approximately $1,000. But that's just an example of that $20,000. But I don't think, you know, knock on wood, that there's a lot of additional costs. The total cost is going to be $65,000, but it's, again, that the deductible is only $2,500, so it really worked out well to our advantage. And we had been talking about painting downstairs too and doing some things. So although it's been terrible not having it downstairs, there are some benefits to what happened. I just wanted to make sure in terms of that resolution that everyone understands that. I already sent it to Lorraine, but I said that it would need to be officially approved tonight. But again, $100,000. So just to go over that again, if you spend $500,000, you can, which we will go over that with the total cost. You can save 20%. As long as it's not in capital expenditures, and we didn't spend any in capital expenditures. So that's where that 100 can roll over. The 20,000 can be encumbered from the 200,000. So there's 180,000 of that line that's going back to the town, but it also depends on how much is spent at the end of the year in terms of what the total is that's going back. Does that make sense? Okay? Okay, just wanted to make sure everyone had that, because that's the most important thing about the minutes. Everything else in the minutes was kind of just what was happening.
Dave, I have a question. With regard to the $20,000, that's actually encumbered against capital improvements, right?
Yes, that
So
actually.
if it's not used against the bathroom because it comes in under, then that can be carried based on the window project.
So that money stays in this year.
Yes, understood.
Yes,
Understood completely.
Yes, in capital.
Understood, but if we didn't have another mechanism to encumber that, I don't think we would be able to carry it in the 2023
That's correct.
budget.
That's correct.
That's why I want to
Yes.
make sure that it's a capital expenditure.
Yes, it
Because
is.
then it can be applied to this encumbered cost.
Yep.
If any delta from what we incur downstairs.
That's true. It doesn't have, yes, correct. Yes. Okay? Okay, great. We could do the roll call.
We did the roll call.
Not the roll call, the approval of the minutes. If you could just go vote on that. Okay.
Okay, does anybody want to,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
okay, second.
Second.
Okay. All right. And vote. Anybody?
All
All in
in favor?
favor?
Aye. Aye.
I can't just
Anybody
vote.
against? No? All right. It's carried.
Great. So it's time for my update, and the reason I'm pulling out my phone is I'm going to the architect, engineer, I'm sorry, here, to check exactly what he said about the windows, to give you an update. The manufacturer says the first shipment of the windows should be by the end of January. When I get a firm delivery date, I will let you know. The contractor should be mobilizing shortly after that. So that's the situation with the windows. I did meet with Sharon to go over, as long as she was elected president, which she was, what her ideas with her president report. And so I just, if you don't mind, Sharon, I'm going to kind of go over some of the things that you were going to bring up to just say what we're working on. In terms of Sundays, is that okay, or would you like me to?
I know the first one I have a little update on, but all of the rest you can.
Okay, why don't I do this? I'll do what, there's only one agenda item that I want to talk about in terms of my update, and then after your report, then I'll respond to each one. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, great, that's better. Okay.
Short and sweet.
All right. The one thing that I wanted to talk to the board about is when I first came here and I was analyzing the budget, there was, and I would go to other towns and other libraries to kind of understand how certain towns give money to the town for certain services that are provided. And here, as you know, we have $70,000 that we pay to, out of our budget. When we say we, you know, it's still tax dollars, out of our budget that pays for about 20% of the cost, actually less than that of DPW, of salary with benefits, and 5% of Marshall's technology of that. However, when I analyze other towns, they really do pay more for things like HR and for accounts payable, some other things as well. And so I wanted to, you know, bring that to your attention. It's something that we can consider, and I have talked to Kevin about, Jerry and Lorraine, just saying that, you know, it's obviously your decision, but should we consider 5% of salary for example, Bridget does a lot of work for us in terms of purchase orders and requisitions and whatnot. Instead of the concept that at the end of the year we give it back, maybe pay for the services as if we were independent and we weren't connected as much as we are. It's just a thought. The other thought that I have is that we right now pay about $20,000 for our fitness instructors. My thought would, I think it would be more efficient to take that $20,000 and put it towards Barry's salary, let him organize the events, and we support the events. A couple reasons for that. Number one, by law, we're not allowed to pay for a facility to use if it's a public facility. We're using the Taylor Pavilion, so we can't really pay the town to use the facility. Number two is that I think it's reasonable for out-of-town residents to pay $5, they always did for the fitness classes. It's really a question whether we can do that or not. It depends on your attorney, and the law says what a public library can pay for. And because it's kind of a collaborative effort right now, I think it would be better if it was a recreation events supported by the library, events that we used to have here and we can't have because of our space, and do it that way. It helps us also because of the amount of paperwork that is done by part-time people, Connie doing here, where Barry's full-time and he does that for all the other fitness instructors. So it's just an idea. It's not any more money that would be going out. It's just doing it in a different way, and it might benefit the recreation department too, because then they can be receiving for the events that we have right now that we're not charging for out-of-town residents. We could charge the $5 and it could go to recreation.
What's our participation in that model, though? At that point, why wouldn't it be advantageous just to divest of the service and allow the recreation department to pick it up from that point?
Well, I do think the way public libraries are now, it is our responsibility to have events like
Well, I understand.
that, you know, but why?
It just seems as though a shared service approach in this particular realm, it makes it a bit convoluted, in my opinion. I don't know if anyone else shares that opinion or not.
What would you recommend?
Well, I don't mind,
Yeah.
if it's a successful program, turn it over to recreation.
And then let them
Let
pay
them,
for it in their.
let them manage it and handle it.
And but what about the financial aspect? Would you feel that we should support that? Because that's what we're doing now. We're paying for the instructors, you know. I mean, to me, I think I like the idea that it's a recreation program supported by the library. both in terms.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I
Yeah.
feel it's consistent with our mission. It just seems, where we draw the line down the middle and what goals we're trying to achieve isn't crystal clear to me on that.
The only concern I have
yeah,
about not establishing like set direction for the board is that in the future, it may hurt the library in the long run. For example, you know, if the borough takes over the recreation programs, that might be good for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
yeah,
And then, you know, at some point, who's to say the borough might not say, we're not doing those programs anymore. And then we've lost the momentum that we had here at the library to do those programs. You know, the same thing with the you know, donating some dollars for the costs of you know, like Bridget
yeah,
and a few other people. I think, again, speaking as a library board member, I
Yeah.
think I'd like to see that documented so that in future administrations, they can't say, you know, like at the end of the year, somebody will say, oh, we want X thousands of dollars. Well, we already
Right.
gave you this
Yeah.
and this and this, and there'll be less money towards the end
yeah.
I think it's cleaner
I-
to say, well, you know, we're supporting, we're using town resources and we're paying for them.
Yeah,
Not like, oh, we're using town resources and then at the end of the year, well, how much are we giving? You know, like how
Yeah.
much, like the discussion we had,
Yeah.
oh, we give them 200.
yeah,
You know, I think it's, from the board's perspective, I think it would be cleaner to say every year we're gonna give this, and this. This way we'll have established a way of doing it, rather than to be at the borough's mercy at the end and say, well, you know, it'll be documented.
yeah. I guess my thought, if I'm understanding you correctly, my thought is that this board has the right each year to decide what, you know, because they can say, we're not paying for DPW anymore, we don't feel that the services are,
Right.
you know what I mean? We, you know, and I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that if we're clear to the town and saying that this is what we feel that the services that are being done by the town for the library, and if we were separate, which a lot of libraries are, we're paying for that, but it might go away because the board might decide, you know, now I know that's not good for the town because the town might then be counting on that money
Right.
from year to year because of the 2%,
Yeah.
you know, cap. I don't know, I just was looking at other towns and just considering it. I just wanted to hear everyone's, you know, thoughts on it. If it's something that's too much of a change or doesn't make sense, I totally
I mean, I think,
understand.
to be blunt, I think if you move things over to recreation, they might make it done.
I would agree with that statement.
You know, that's,
I would agree with that
that's the
statement.
reality.
And it always seemed sensible to me that recreation should be done by recreation, but, you know, because we have a predictable amount of money coming in, we're more reliable than they are.
That's true.
I think we've been able to, I'll say, realize more effectiveness in building these programs than the recreation department has. I think that's why it evolved the way it did, like
Yeah.
more resident,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm in favor of continuing the programs.
So,
But it's the level of, I'll say, division of responsibilities, I don't know if that's the right word. You know, I'm not a fan of charging additional, like, out-of-town people fees unless we incur the fee. You know, unless there's an
Yeah.
incremental cost to having someone outside the community come in, then absolutely, But if there's no additional incremental cost, if we would have to pay the same amount to service our patrons,
yeah.
you know, I'm not necessarily a fan of soliciting payment in that regard.
So, for example, I was trying to make it cleaner too. Right now, we have 3 events down at the Taylor Pavilion that there's no charge for, and then there's 4 counting meditation, and then there's another 4 that they do charge 5, because they were originally recreation. Recreation used to charge 5 to everyone, and then when we got involved, they were able to not charge for the residents. So what I'm hearing from you is let's just keep it the way it is, and allow the programs that are originally the library programs continue free to everyone, and then the rec, since they were rec programs, they're just stay, that's their decision. Yes, okay. So
That'd be-
just
that'd
keep it
be-
the way it is.
That would be my opinion on it.
Okay,
And in the event we got to the point where I think we discussed this in the past, where all of a sudden there's such a demand for a class that we needed to have a new section,
yeah,
and that was driven by people other than direct patrons or taxpayers in Belmar, then there would be an incremental cost, and I think we would need to definitely review that in order to be responsible. You know, but until we get to that threshold, I think it's a service that we need to provide to the library.
no. No, I was trying to help the rec's budget,
Right.
you know, in a way that didn't affect our residents, and make it cleaner down there in terms of what classes are charged, and, you know, just all the same for everything, you know. But, does everybody agree with that? Just keep it the way it is?
Go ahead.
Deal?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Regarding the numbers that we have that come to the 4 classes that you were mentioning that are sponsored basically by the library, are the majority of the patrons Belmar residents?
It's about 50-50. I would say it depends on the class. And when you say, remember, sponsored by the library, all of the instructors right now are paid by the library. So even the rec classes, yeah. With the idea that, you know, we couldn't fit them in our facility here, and that we were covering that. So, but when we're talking about meditation, Tai Chi, healthy steps, and strength and balance, those 4, we don't have any money coming in from non-residents. And it's about 50-50, but some of the classes are a little bit more. I would say meditation, which is very small. Meditation is the smallest. There's about 10 people that come each time. The rest are, like today, what was 37, I think, was that the fitness class. So, the Tai Chi, there's usually like 20, 25. So it's all kind of different. I don't know if that answers your question. It's somewhere between 50 to 75% Belmar, but I would say it's more towards 50%, depending on each class.
Classes were getting quite large, which of course is a big asset that we have, the ability to use the Taylor Pavilion.
Yeah,
I know. So that's something to maybe think of down the road, you know, when our numbers might go the opposite way, where there's more non-Belmar residents than there are residents. We might have to rethink this.
okay. All right. So just keep it status quo, the way we have it.
I have a question
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
What are libraries that are around us, do they have programs available that Belmar residents go to? That, you know, is it?
Yeah, it depends on each, like, some libraries are nonprofit organizations, some are municipalities, some own the property, don't own the property, so, you know, some, for example, in Manasquan, they don't have the budget that we have because they're not a municipal library. Bradley does, they have the budget. Avon is one that has the same type of budget.
Do we know who those
What?
Avalon and Bradley, do they offer programs that?
Bradley does, I go to Bradley all the time.
Yeah,
that Belmar-
Bradley is
My
free.
family's
And they're all
attending
free.
Bradley's
programs as
free,
well.
right, for everyone.
I had to pay an
You did?
out-of-town fee, like $15-20, but then I go to all their programs.
What? Oh, just
For the
a,
card.
for
I
the
bought a
card,
annual
right,
card.
for the card. And we
But
have that too.
And I take my granddaughters
yeah.
there all the time.
Yeah, so really, we have the same then as Bradley, because they pay for, Lake Como does not pay for a card, but all the other towns do pay for a card. But some of the libraries that are nonprofit organizations, they're not municipalities, they do charge even for their residents, yeah.
And do they use other facilities?
Well, some of them just have larger facility. If you've been to Brielle's, they have their own like yoga
Right.
room,
I'm thinking
you know,
Avon.
children's room. Yeah, Avon doesn't have the classes the fitness classes that we have
Bradley.
specifically.
Bradley's
They have.
Do they have fitness classes there?
I don't know that they fit, well, I think the rec has fitness. They have like music classes for kids, they
Yeah.
have STEM classes for kids, they
Yeah.
have
In their,
puzzle making.
in their building?
Yeah, they have a whole downstairs with a children's room, a
Right.
couple
Yeah,
of
they have
different,
they
yeah.
have a children's library downstairs and an extra room on
And
the
a children's
side.
librarian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They did, yeah.
yeah.
So keep it
Okay.
status quo.
So that's really that was my update, was the windows. We can also go downstairs afterwards and see there's been a lot of progress. The update downstairs is 2 weeks still, waiting on the carpet, but a lot of the painting is finished. And so we could go down at the end and take a look at that. Looking forward to that being finished. And then also the update, I know Sharon's gonna bring this up in her report, but we're waiting for the downstairs to be finished to put out the email and using the town to help us as well in terms of our strategic plan. The idea of the strategic plan is we have an email that will go out and say Belmar Library listens, and the explanation to everyone will be what are the three things that we're doing well. If they want to give us 5 or 6, they can. If they want to give us 5 or 6 saying the things we need to improve, but we're asking for 3 and 3 things. And then Leslie takes that data and brings it to you, and we need to establish one board member that needs to be on the committee. Sharon, as the president, should come in and out of that, but at least one board member. So if someone is interested, it is a lot of work, a lot of writing up action plans and whatnot. But the idea is when the basement is, and the reason we want the basement to be done is we want a lot of different avenues for people to share their opinions. So first, they can do it digitally. Second, we have on the front desk here, they can do it in writing if they'd like to write it to us. They can also just come to a meeting and share verbally, and that's Leslie's job as a non-employee to take that. And then we will also have someone who speaks Spanish for a Spanish-speaking community to take it in verbally and give it to Leslie. She'll put all this data together to give to the committee, and we will establish action plans. Usually action plans in a strategic plan is, you have four committees, small committees too, of 2 or 3 people. It would be communication, it would be resources, it'd be programs and facilities. And the facilities is very important in terms of, for the budget, there has been facilities plans before done by the board, but it hasn't been really as official in terms of what needs to be done. So we can do that through the strategic plan model. But we're just waiting for that to be done, and we have the email created, and Leslie and Deb are creating the email, and it's ready. It will be ready to go out. But we want to be able to say on this date we're having this meeting. On this date it will be Spanish-speaking person to share. So it's all on one email going out. It will go out through the schools, both St. Rose and Belmar Elementary School, and then also, I don't know if anybody, through the town, if there's any way that, other than our email and through your email system, is there some way, one of the things we did at the school, we actually walked, and you can't put it in their mailboxes, but we walked the town and put things indoors. I don't know if you have any ideas how we could get it out.
We've started doing a newsletter, a short newsletter, but again, that's,
Still digital.
do that.
Oh, you mean
We don't
mail?
send it, we don't mail it, but,
Oh, you do?
you don't mail the newsletter.
You
no.
don't? No, okay. So that's my thought is, we could mail something, but that's costly.
Is there anything that does get mailed?
Excuse me?
What's
Is there
that?
anything that does get mailed from the town?
That we could
that-
add?
Only required notices and things like that,
I can walk it, I
Tax
volunteer.
bill.
Yeah.
I love walking,
Whole town?
whole town.
Could we do something like put it on the website and then and market it out, like say, take the library survey and here's the link. go
Sure, I'm
to-
just thinking of the non-digital people is what I'm trying to get to.
But you have a database of emails of individuals that live in
But he wants to reach everybody.
I know,
You could- No, I'm saying that you could only walk only the people who don't have the emails. So, that would make it less of a, like
It's engaging the unengaged too. It's finding the people in the shadows as part of the strategic plan that aren't otherwise engaged in the library,
yeah.
I think we can get the message out to the people that we know pretty readily. It's getting the other stakeholders
Yeah.
engaged, to make
You
sure
also
that we're.
use your events.
That's
to
what I was
make
gonna
that-
say,
Yeah.
we have
You
community
have
events, street fairs, parades.
I was gonna say, you give them food, they will come.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that would be the,
Uh,
most of your events have food associated
So,
with it.
I mean, our events, what other events in town? I mean, we have the Chinese New Year is our biggest event. Is there anything else in town that we,
I mean, we
that's
have
not-
bigger things like the
like-
seafood festival,
But-
but that brings people from out,
Yeah.
but I mean, we always have a booth, we have a Belmar
Yeah, that's
booth there.
I'm just thinking though, the idea is to start really, 2 weeks, from now and go for a couple of months, but if you wanted to extend it to get, more information and go months and months of receiving, I don't,
No, we
yeah,
don't
I
wanna
don't
do that.
think that's a good
I don't
idea,
think we
but,
go months and months, but I like the idea of setting it up at a town event, whether it's a library or a public.
what's a big town event in the next 3 months?
St. Patrick's Day.
Put a sign on the library float during the parade.
Yeah, there you go.
There you have
There you go.
Okay.
We got the soda, we got the soda bread contest.
And maybe would it be bad as we're walking,
Give a QR
that
code.
we hand things to people as we're walking? But the problem is we're gonna get it to people that are not residents.
I just put a sign on the
I mean,
float.
we always
Just
have,
put a sign.
Yeah.
We're gonna do our best. We're not gonna get everybody. We're just gonna
Yeah,
make an
yeah.
effort to get as many as we can. I think we can contact people that are already engaged, who are gonna probably have the most interest. It's just finding some people that otherwise wouldn't be engaged and engaging them that I think would be the benefit. And we can only just we're gonna do our best on that.
Okay. Do you like, I mean,
well, let's put it
we
this
did,
way, only 50% of people who are registered will come out to vote. So it's
Yeah.
like-
Good year.
Yeah.
What a good year.
Good
That's a
year.
lot of
So
walking.
you're looking at,
I see 25 and 30%.
we walk the
Yeah.
town and put it on every house, but the response is gonna be very, I won't say minimal, but it's gonna be probably way less than 50%.
would you be okay if, I'm just thinking, again, I'm tired of hearing comparison to the school district, I'm sorry, but would you be okay if I had directors' teas and I went to people's homes, like we did for the referendum, and explained the process of how to give their information to us, and also, how do you feel about walking the town? I mean, do you have anybody, I mean, we're not gonna get everybody, and the problem is we do have to have our attorney agree that it's okay, because you do have risks with people walking from home to home. Not that I'm saying, I'm not trying to say, but, you have things that can happen, so I'm just asking your, opinion. Everybody takes a street, does it within a couple of months, puts it in.
The other thing to think about too is, and I forget off the top of my head, like how many households there are in town. Because if you're gonna, let's say, mail out something, you're only really mailing it to just the households. So
Yeah,
you could have a household of 5 people, and I'm trying to think about, from doing campaigning, how many households there are. And I don't remember, I want to say a rough number, maybe 3,000.
yeah.
So, I don't know that I would can the mailing idea
Okay.
yet,
What
depending upon what,
is it, does anyone know what that costs?
63 cents for a stamp, I know that, and,
And how do you can get all of the addresses, I mean, I'm thinking, right, I mean.
well,
I
the only
know-
way you can get the addresses is either through the voter lists.
Yeah, we could do it just like the
Just fine,
referendum,
that's
yeah,
not a
right.
big deal.
So that's just getting a group together and, meeting on a weekend.
I mean, you can get a service,
discussing.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to,
What's this?
like, for example, I've gone to Kentech you know, and you give them a list, and you say, this is what I want sent out, and, and they send it out.
Right.
It's not necessarily an envelope, it could be a flyer, you know,
Yeah, I was thinking postcards maybe.
postcard, something like that, I mean,
So,
We would have to just design it so that it communicates quickly in enough information that
yeah,
in the 5 seconds that they'll actually look at it before they toss it with the rest of the junk.
right,
Yeah,
that's
that's
about
That they actually
Right.
interact, say, "Ooh, I want to do this."
yeah.
So we would have to make it very engaging
Yeah.
visually right off the bat.
What does that cost if there's 3,000 homes? It's gonna cost 3,000, you think? Or more than that? I can do that research and have it for
I'm
this.
not really sure what it costs, but we do that with the fire department,
Okay,
okay? We have a gentleman that handles that. We do a first mailing, and then we do a second mailing. And we have our corporation, Belmar Inc., and we meet and we split. That's when it's split between the three companies and the exempt association and the relief association. But I'm not too sure what it is now, because I did that years ago when I was, we had that, we used to do a walk, the entire town.
Oh, yeah.
We used to walk the entire town. Now we do it through a company that handles that.
yeah, yeah.
And basically, Chip Kavanaugh did that, handles that whole thing for the fire department. We, like I said previously, we have 2 mailing, but then, you know, we do the entire town, the marina, the boats, everything. So it's a whole,
So would the board like me to look into that, a mailing? We'd have to, okay, yes?
Yes.
I also would like to know if there's a possibility, I was mentioning the postcard, if we had a postcard that was kind of created, that had like, say for instance, 3 pros, 3 cons, or however Louis mentioned it before, and we had them in strategic areas at strategic times. Example, I know February 1st, don't laugh, is you have to pay property taxes. So we know that that's a day that a lot of people come in through the lobby of the borough. And so, I know this is too soon, but I'm just saying, times that we know that there are specifically locals around. You know, I know we mentioned the St. Patrick's Day Parade, I know we mentioned the Soda Break Contest and Chinese New Year. But there are some others, you know, we have the concerts, and those are mostly Belmar residents that are attending, you know, the outside concerts. So we kind of thought about the times that we could kind of capitalize on, we have a captive audience, instead of sending out like huge mailers that sometimes just get lost. I'd rather have someone ask me directly, oh, what is this about? Oh, you can tell me a few words about it? Yeah, I want to fill this out. Just a thought. I always worry about mailings because I pick so many of them.
Okay, well, the next meeting is, how about if I have a plan to bring to you? We'll have to, like, move on it quickly. Or do you want, so I'm sorry. Okay. February 12th. I mean, we were thinking we wanted to start before that in terms of getting it out, you know, in an email and whatnot. We could still do that and have a kind of a separate plan in terms of how to get to more people that I can give you on February 12th?
Yeah, so.
And I'll give you like how much it will cost for the mailing, you know, how we would get.
Does it be?
How many email addresses we have, stuff like that.
I wouldn't hold up our initial
Okay.
plan based on
Get that
this.
done.
This
Okay.
is a bit, for lack of a better term, of scope creep and due diligence.
Okay.
But I would at least start casting the net on
Digitally.
on people that we
Yeah.
have
Okay.
access to.
Yeah, and
Good.
then if you did a mail around afterwards, or something, you know, just a continuity of that.
Okay. Will do.
if you have any questions or thoughts about anything, contact Chip, because he does, you know, he can give you some information. Because like I said, he does it for the fire department,
Okay.
and he can give you all kinds of information about that.
And I'll also talk to John Walsh, because we've sent out mailers, campaign mailers to every registered voter in the town, so we have a good
Yeah.
idea of how much that
Okay.
would cost, and with the postage.
I'll call John.
Yeah, just call
Okay.
him, just say, you know, when we did a mailer to all all registered
What was
voters.
it? Okay, registered voters.
Yeah, like, how much did it cost? And that also included the printing of the
Yeah,
document, whatever it was that was being sent,
Yeah.
flyer or whatever, so I mean,
okay,
you'll have a good ballpark, that's
Great.
what it is.
all right. So as soon as the downstairs is done, just so you know, then the dates and the email will go out with the email for people to communicate with us. There will be a sheet out front here, the dates will be established, and then on the 12th, I'll have an action plan for you in terms of how to kind of reach the other people. Okay. All right, Sharon, you're on.
Yeah, I know Darlene, is out, but she also did contact me and said that since Lorraine was out, that she did not have a budget.
Right.
So she'd have one, and I said if she sends it to us, then we could email it to the board members.
Yes.
All right, okay, I did leave a message with Lois Gallagher's daughter Natalie as to their wish for the springtime installation of the planting in her mom's honor. And I also asked, well, then she called me back and I found out that she's living in Florida. And, so I did speak with her after the day and I was flying. And she said, you know, that she was very happy that they were going to do something, that we were going to do something. And I did ask her if she could, probably within the next month or two, put together some words that the family would like to have on her plaque. So I'm glad that that's finally, we've actually contacted one another. She has my number, I have hers, it's good. Second bullet I have on is it's a new year. So anyone that has personal trustee hours, I need them to be emailed to me so that I can put the dates and the workshop titles so I can get them to Dave because he needs them for the state report. And since it's a new year, anything that people want to sign on, feel free. We have lots of things that are going on in the state and there's a lot more information. So again, you can go to the New Jersey Library Trustees website. The digital marina sign should be promoting the library's activities, I heard, at least once each month. But I haven't seen any for our upcoming events, and I know
I would, let John know about that.
So we do, Lewis did give MLK, our presenter, and he said it would be on. I was supposed to stop and look and see if it was on. I'm texting John right now. So that, just so you know, that is, and then the idea is, strategic plan will be on there as well, on that sign. So that's the next, oh, is she back on?
Yes.
yeah, I know it's been fading in and out, sorry. The book is rocking and moving at the same time. Sorry.
They're not getting any sympathy.
Okay. I know that there's been a proposed calendar of events. Has that been able to be discussed with the board?
Yeah, so I told, Lewis has it all organized. I just want to, we're gonna go over it next time, like we cut one of the presenters. I just wanna make sure budget-wise that we're okay based on what we did with the capital expenditures, for this year. So he has it all organized, and I'll have it for the next meeting, because it's gonna be a little tighter this year. So I just wanna double check that before he presents it next time. But just so you know, Lewis, could you go over what is
I have
organized and, yeah,
I have what we have.
like what we put in for requisitions, what we're committed to, you know.
Okay, so I passed out everyone to you a little double packet there. Things. The first page is the first series of living history events that we have going on. It's supposed to focus around Martin Luther King Day, Black History Month, President's Day, and Women's History Month in there. And I got 3 living historian actors that will be coming portraying Martin Luther King, which is this Saturday the 13th. He'll be followed by Ken Servas presenting as President U.S. Grant, okay? And then here's what I'm looking forward to is Peyton Dixon presenting as President Theodore Roosevelt. And finally, we have on Saturday, March 2nd, Harriet Tubman. And these are all going to be professional actors, and I'll pass around a little thing and we can see what the main signs are going to be. And then we also have those. We have the first author time for the year is Jennifer Clearwaters and Cynthia O'Connell. in their book. Now, the good news about author times is that they don't cost us anything. We're not paying for anything for the authors. They come here on their own to promote their books. And I have already lined up a significant number of authors that I just have to finalize the dates with for the rest of the year. And the reason I was able to do that was because I am partnering with this person, I forget the name off the top of my head, but we're going to be having an author book fair in Taylor Pavilion in May, and where we're going to have up to 30 authors organized by this person, and they'll be coming to talk about their books and selling their books and things like that. And we at the library are partnering with them in terms of providing the location, our ability to promote and highlight the name. And this person came to us asking if we'd be interested in partnering with them because she had a similar event late last year over in Neptune with some level of success, but she wanted a partner now that had an ability, that she said, to get the word out and stuff. And apparently she saw our successful things. And one of the authors is someone we did the book launch for a year or two ago for the lifeguards. Okay, and so we were recommended by them. So we have that program coming up. And I also have upcoming a couple of programs that are not on the events roster, the programs, but are not going to cost us anything. We're having a caregivers for LGBTQ seniors and caregivers program. Author time. We're going to have another author time. Maria Rondonaro had put me in touch with a teenager who wrote a book on homelessness in Monmouth County in New Jersey and has been published. He's a published author now, and I'm going to reach out to have him do an author time here in Bell at the library.
Yeah, Ocean Township High School.
Ocean Township, yeah. Zach Levy is his name. So really looking forward to that. Very good kid.
Yeah.
We're also going to restart some of our programs. We have the Youth Art program just started up. The first event was 20 kids, which was fantastic. We'll also be restarting, once the downstairs is up and running again, we'll be restarting the smartphones and technology for adults and seniors. And we've already, we're going to restart the disability law for families with special needs and the Medicare information programs, both of which have been quite successful in the past. So we'll have them starting up again soon. We do have pretty much all the dates set for the summer concert series. We haven't nailed everything down finally. I just wanted to go over some things with Dave on that issue. But we pretty much got all the main bands all lined up for that, including the kids rock band, and also for St. Patrick's Day parade, we already have the float lined up and the band, the kids rock band, to perform for us on that as well. And I'm currently well into planning for Chinese New Year. That was originally slated for Thursday, February 15th, but we may need to move it to a Saturday for a lack of dancers. They're available on Saturdays. I'm looking to expose what dates are available.
So let's talk about that for a second. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Saturdays, it's either Thursday with not as many dancers, right? Or Saturday with a better show, right?
Saturday with a better show without any increase in fee.
Yeah.
What date?
I'm looking at the 10th right now, but I'm waiting for John to get back to me on that, because apparently Merrymaker said he has it slated for that day, but they haven't booked it. So if we can steal that day back if they're not using it. Otherwise, I have to hold it as early as Saturday the 3rd or as late as Saturday the 28th or whatever the last Saturday is.
What about a Sunday?
I don't know. I don't think having a Sunday would be a good idea.
In an evening, evening Sunday?
No,
People don't go there and do things.
no.
Yeah, I
Sunday
think
night.
Thursday is good because you only have one more day, so people are willing to come out at night.
Right.
And Saturday, I don't know. I'm asking you, whether you think,
Could go either way, because kids
Yeah.
have sports and, you know, events and parties, so it could either be really.
If you do a Saturday, it'd be an evening.
Yeah.
If we do a Saturday, it would be an evening one. It wouldn't be an afternoon.
yeah,
That's nurse one is all that one. So, what's like on a Saturday, are they out
well,
speaking, or
I
they?
don't think, I don't know, I mean, I don't really, I think, you know, our kids are in,
Younger ones are in,
Yeah.
older ones are
the
out.
high school kids are out, but I never really saw that many of our kids take off that week to go on vacation because their older brothers are off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know if that affects, I don't think it would.
And Belmar's was the following, was that worse?
That's the president's,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, we want to stay away from that.
What?
President's weekend.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it. Say what you want. I mean, I have a president coming on that weekend.
Yeah, right, yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't wanna have two major events at the
Yeah.
same day.
So let's make a decision now, if you don't mind, because Lewis has to schedule this. Do you want to go with Thursday or Saturday?
I think Saturday, you're gonna take into consideration, I think you're gonna have a higher volume of people during the day. So you might plan,
Are you suggesting that I do a midday thing?
Crapshoot.
you know, you were talking Saturday, February 10th for Chinese New Year, right?
Correct.
So I think Saturday, you know, you're gonna have more dancers, like
Right.
you said, but I think you're gonna have more people coming out during the day. I mean, you know.
Do you like say I have an afternoon type of thing?
What did you have planned for Saturday?
Well, I was thinking of doing it in the evening.
Oh.
Oh, Saturday evening?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
See, I just think people have,
That's what I was thinking,
people
the
have other
afternoon.
stuff going on a Saturday
I think
night.
it's crapshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's crapshoot.
Yeah.
Could be big and it's gonna be, I don't think there's enough quantifiable metrics to say accurately one will be more or less. Thursday nights, I think, pretty busy for me because I don't have a lot to do on Thursday, so I like those events. Saturdays, we often have lots to do, so whether or not people come out, as I say, is a little point.
what's the breakdown on dancers, like, what are they saying?
Well, part of it has to be is like the dancers, they have their full-time jobs. And they have they go to schools and stuff like that. And so they're coming from like the Island area. So they have to get there, they gotta come down. If we start our event at like 7 o'clock, that gives them time to get down here. Okay, and I think last year we started at 6, but they got there late and a little, we had to wait a few minutes. And I
That's
know
right.
the same thing happens
Was
in
it,
mariachi.
was it that, yeah, same thing.
Yeah, so, and last year they did good because they had several dancers, including that one guy that played the special instruments. But she just texted me saying, hey, I can't get as many, it's hard for me to get dancers on a Thursday night, so can we do a Saturday? So that's what I'm looking into now.
I'd be jolly with Saturday.
You'd be cool with Saturday?
I would.
You would or not?
I would.
You would, okay.
I'm actually pretty indifferent, but I don't have any problem with Saturday.
Everybody, give it a try?
Give it a try.
All right,
Let's
let's
see.
Let's do it.
Roll.
All right.
So we'll go with Saturday, February 10th.
We'll do depending on what John Walsh tells me, I'll finalize that.
50.
from John
Like
Walsh,
some
okay?
contagion,
Yeah.
see.
Then it will be in the evening.
Yes. Saturday for a Chinese New Year. Okay, so that's that, and the other thing, just to kind of give you what we got going on is, we're gonna be doing a lot of things this year that, it's not gonna cost us like money. Let's say we're gonna be doing things for National Library Week, we'll be doing things for Banned Books Week, things like that, those are like library themed events throughout the year. Also, we'll be repeating our series of live animals, wolves, reptiles, penguins, and the Pine Barren animals, which will bring an owl, so that would be pretty cool. The kids will like that. That's, for the moment, that's really about it, just to give you an idea of what we're working on. There are other things, but there's, I could be wrong there.
And just one quick thing, Lewis was talking about the bands. Has anyone seen the Black Ties? Lewis said that there was some, in town they played there's 600, which is the same as what we pay Pat Roddy. There was another band that was 1,200, so we're saying no to that, but, what do you think? One more concert? I know someone asked me why we always do it on a Thursday, because Wednesday there's the concert in the plaza, and Friday there's the movies, and I call John, and it makes, I think we have to stay on
Friday they have a
Thursday.
concert.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the plaza.
so, let's just keep it, right?
Yeah.
So go with another one?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, so go with it.
All right, like us on it.
Yeah?
All right, good.
Okay, Sharon?
Can I go back? I have to go back to my report.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, two questions though before I continue. The book fair that you mentioned in May, what day of the week were you looking at for that?
I gotta see if I can pull that up on my calendar. I believe it was a Thursday. I tend to like to go with Thursdays, let me tell you.
Were you looking for local artists, local authors?
Well, I don't have to look, no, hold on, let me make something absolutely clear. I don't need to look for authors, those are already arranged, and the vast majority of those authors are local to the Jersey Shore area. Some may be a little farther south, others may be a little like maybe into southern Middlesex County, but they're all local to New Jersey. So we don't have to worry about finding authors, she's already done that. We're pulling in the back end of providing a venue and providing the marketing muscle behind it.
Okay, so I was just thinking, we have quite a few Belmar authors, so I was just wondering if she's got them included.
She may have a handful, yes, but I don't think, she has yet to send me the list of
We could
authors.
ask those, right? We could
But
ask, can we add a
we
few
could always
Belmar?
ask,
Yeah.
we could always ask if
Yeah.
they want to be involved, I'll put them in touch with her, you know. Let's see here.
Okay. And the other thing, while you're looking at it, the other thing is we had talked in the last meeting that of bringing back the opera DVDs for the seniors specifically.
Yeah, we did mention that. Well, once we're able to put in requisitions now, once the budget is entered in and we're able to put in requisitions, then we can start ordering like opera DVDs. And then we can start putting together the opera program again. But we're just waiting for the budget to be entered in the system, we're able to enter requisitions to place orders.
So what do we have available through, I thought we had, I know it's not Hoopla, but one of the other ones that we had with music, sometimes just even listening to it, it helps with those that have, beginning stages of dementia, Alzheimer's, and so on. So I was just trying to, and the other thing that I was going to mention was, with the Sunday open dates that we have, are there any activities or events that we're trying to use to entice the public to venture in?
Well, one of the things that some of the staff members have been talking about, that I think would be great, would be a Sunday story time for kids of several ages groups. Not just for the pre-K like we currently have now, but it will be for the slightly older classes, like up to 3rd grade. And we can do a Sunday story time there. And that's something we could implement without any additional costs, and we can use existing staff members and resources for that. So that's something we could start up soon.
Yeah, Patty, as a retired teacher, she's willing to help us out with that. And Patty, just to give us an idea on Sundays, would you say that the numbers are about the same as Saturdays?
Yes.
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays are way busier than evenings.
Yeah.
Evenings are slow, Saturdays and Sundays get a lot of families, and the first Sunday we were open, we had maybe 3 or 4 different families come in with small children and sat down and stayed for a while to read, and then Joyce said, if we had a story time on Sunday, we'd probably get a big crowd, so yeah.
Think about it, Joyce is a retired kindergarten teacher,
yeah.
Patty is a retired, what grade did you teach?
First, second, and
First,
third.
second, so it's perfect. On Sundays, we're do that, and that will get people here earlier to stay, and then maybe an idea of some type of program too on Sundays. So it's really has turned out to be, and I think once the downstairs is done too, I think we're going to see people that are going to want to study downstairs, like we had people on Fridays that were coming in because it was kind of quiet on Fridays.
Yeah, we've had that on Sundays, we've had people sitting in the back. table coming to
They
work.
they get away from their kids to study. Yeah, one
My
parent
kid gets
says,
away from me. Gloria comes in every Sunday. Gloria's in here every Sunday.
Is that right? When you,
So-
it always goes by.
Sharon, to answer your question, the local author book fair is currently scheduled for Saturday, April
Good
13th.
night, everybody.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that again?
Yes.
Repeat that, Louis?
I'm sorry, it's booked for Saturday, April 13th.
That's the book fair.
And that will be authors that will be there.
And that will be at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Taylor Pavilion.
Taylor Pavilion.
Yeah, because that's gonna be, I mean, the idea is we wanna bring people here, but that's gonna be pretty large.
Yeah,
So we
you have
can't-
30,
Yeah,
having 30 authors, each
Yeah.
with their own table, talking about their
Yeah.
books and everything. That's gonna be much.
yeah, yeah.
All right, and the last thing that I wanted to mention was that, Anna and I did deliver the dog donations to the Humane Society as well as the, ASPCA. There were quite a few items that were given, I did send pictures to Louis.
Yes, and I got pictures from Anna as well.
Look on the Facebook page to see if they're there, but, I just wanted to let you know it was quite a huge amount of things that were gathered, so they were very appreciative of those groups. And we left them with the Belmar Library's business cards so that they knew exactly, where the donations had come from, the residents and the library.
And Sharon, I just got a text from John, it's on the sign right now, MLK.
Okay, perfect.
Okay? And the next thing hopefully will be to either Chinese New Year, what's the date of Chinese New Year?
February 10th.
I'm saying February
I'm
10th.
hoping that we get something about strategic plan that stays on for a while before that, but we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've touched on pretty much old and new, but anything we need to add on?
And one other thing you had in your report, you wanted to know about the terms of everyone. I have a copy for everyone when their term is done and everything that Jerry, the mayor, did last year, so everyone knows. And you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna do both of you at the end, if you don't mind, we'll do your swearing in. Yeah, we'll do that at the end after, public comment.
Okay. I think that's it for my report. Thank you.
Any old business? Kind of discussed it through both reports.
Correct. And new business was already brought up as well.
Yeah. Any other new business that was not discussed in the reports that you'd like to talk about?
No, I think we're on comment.
Okay, public comment?
Is it possible that you could get a Mexican band to support the Mexican people in town? Just
Well-
an idea. It's just, it's just ideas I'm throwing out there.
Well, we are not going to do the Cinco de Mayo event.
No,
well,
I
we're
meant
gonna
for
be
the
doing a lot-
set,
I
for the
know-
summer concert, the
Yeah, I
summer
think-
series.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
saying,
Mexican
yeah,
music, Mexican music.
look into that.
I know you listed a couple of children's activities, but what happened with the clubs that kept gonna be started for the teens and stuff? Like the Pokemon and
Yeah,
things that were discussed?
We can't really do that until the basement is done, but in terms of some of the things that we planned on doing, when we spoke to the superintendent, he had asked for us not to do them this year. He got a grant from, for clubs and things like that, and we were gonna be kind of recruiting some of the teachers to run some of these programs. So he said, could you wait to see how the clubs go with school? So I said, that we wait on that, plus with what was going on with the basement. But we are looking into, the esports being supportive of what they're doing over there, but that's kind of why I slowed that
So
down.
when you say the year, you mean the school year, so till the end of June? You got a grant for the whole year?
Yeah, and then that's,
Okay,
and
so-
then his grant is finished, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, I know, Louis, you spoke up a bunch of things, but can all this be written out? Chinese New Year, like what other nightly events?
Well-
Is the year laid out and can it be
Actually, yeah,
published?
it kind of is. We're still in the development and approval portion of it. at the next meeting, as David outlined, this will be pretty much finalized, and I'll be presenting it. And I'll be translating this into something that the public can readily access on their website, and see all the events laid out.
So that will
plugged to
include
date.
the nightly events, like the Irish soda bread thing and
Yes,
all those things, and there'll be dates attached to them?
there'll be dates
So
attached
so
to
all
it,
that stuff
and
will be laid out?
now, some events will not have dates attached because they're so far out, I haven't finalized, but they'll definitely be up there to know that it's coming. And to, and as the year goes on and I finalize certain dates for certain events, for example, like the Latin American month, while I haven't settled on a date on that yet, exactly when that will be, I want people to at least know that it's coming, and so they can be aware of it. So as soon as I have as much concrete information for each event, I'll be plugging it online so people can see it on the website.
And Anita, if you feel free, that's not finalized, but Lewis has it done actually right now, but I just wanted to, like, you could kind of take a look, but the next meeting it will be completed, just because of what we did financially at the last meeting. I have to double check and meet with Lorraine, who's not in right now, to double check with our budget situation, but that's why I wanted them to talk about like the next 2 months of what's definite, and then at the next meeting it will be finalized, but he has it pretty much all organized and said to me, do you want me to present it tonight? And I said, I just need to wait in terms of the budget.
What are we paying for the strategic plan?
We pay that, we're paying Leslie $35 an hour.
An estimate of how many hours she'll do?
I don't have that. If it's anything over $2,000, it has to be approved by the board.
So the budget, I wasn't here at the last meeting, and it sounds like a lot happened. So in general, over the years, the budget has been, I don't know, between the municipality, it's just been very gray area. And the library has not used their funds for the library. That's why our windows are this old, and we're praying that in February we might get a new window. I'm still, praying for that. We need a new door. We need the facade done. We need these things done. The chimney still has twigs in it. I don't know if that's ever really clearly been looked at. I don't know if that's clogged. I don't know if that's backing up your exhaust or anything.
No,
And all this stuff needs to be done. And the reason why all this stuff needs to be done is because the budget has been in this gray area for years, and it has not been, the library has not truly been funded completely with the library's required money. And now it sounds like I missed a very important meeting, and everything's getting gray again. I beg you, I plead with you, I applaud you, please fund the library and use the library funds for the library. Write things down very specifically, what you want, like if you want to pay 5% for, because of DPW, whatever, then write that down in a resolution so that this does not repeat itself over and over and over and over again. This is a beautiful library. It's a Carnegie Library. It's a historic building. We should be looking at an addition. We should be way beyond an addition, a children's room, a children's librarian. This is the future. We just keep going backwards. I was so hopeful. Last year was so good, and now it just seems like whatever you guys just all talked about, we just took 20,000 steps backwards. I'm very upset. Just say that. And I will walk the town. I have no problem walking the town. I'll sign anything that says I will not sue you. You can get me a list of all the emails that you sent out, and I'll only go to the houses that don't. I do it all the time for the politics. I do it all the time at all. I want to get as much information from other people we can't reach. That's who you want to reach. You want to reach the people whose email you don't have, who don't come to the library, who don't even know we have a library, who don't, that's who you want. And it's their money too. That's it.
Any other public comment?
Yes, I have a comment.
Okay.
My videos are for everyone.
Yeah.
So anytime anyone wants to go grab one and embed it on your Facebook page, on the website, and is welcome to the video.
Okay.
I don't own them, they're for everyone.
Okay, great.
Okay. People may want to see what goes on here.
Yeah.
What do I owe her to get all that information about the budget and what you spent and how much you gave, 180,000 back to the town. Where do I get all that in, where do I get that all written out? What is my, I've been
You do
trying to,
that to the town, just like you did last year, same thing. Just do an Oprah request.
for,
For a budget for the specific, as I said last year, that, I'll give you the specific report that you would ask for. You would ask for the budget account status transition audit trail. So that would give you specifically, and in terms of what you're asking about with the meeting, now that the minutes have been approved, I can give you a copy of the resolution, and I can sit down with you if you'd like and kind of explain how the budget works and where the money, how the money goes back to the town and whatnot. The capital line that we were talking about that had the $200,000 in it for this year for the windows, the board had the choice of either encumbering that money and have it spent this year, or not, and budgeting it in for next year. So they encumbered some of that money, but rolled over some of the unspent funds to capital reserves, which then gives more flexibility with things like you're talking about. If every year for the next 5 years that the board decides to roll over $100,000, that's $500,000. Then you can go for grants to the state and get where you get the same, you know, the grants where they will match them, and then we could talk about an addition.
I followed the money trail for the last 8 years, and there's been accounts, supposedly there's an account with 650,000 in a capital fund.
No, there's not.
I know,
There's
I know, I know,
no.
I know, I know, I know,
Okay,
I
there's
know, I know.
174,000
I
in
know.
capital reserve.
But I'm just saying, you know, the library has funds, and the library needs help. And we should, as a unit, as a town, we should be looking and thinking addition. And really pushing ourselves to the limit of what really what we need. Here, we have a town that's interested, we get activity, we have activities, we're expanding, there's people moving in all the time that are interested coming here, and we should be pushing ourselves to these ideas. And instead of, you know, constantly reinventing the wheel and reinventing the budget and you know, talking about the same thing over and over again. It should all be laid out. Your calendar events should be laid out through the year. This is what we cost. This is how much it's going to cost us. This is what we're doing. And you know, this is how much money we have, and this is where we want to go. Anyway, thank you.
Any other comment? Okay. Motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Next meeting is, what did I say, the 12th? 12th.
Okay.